Hey y'all, we're back, honey. We're back for our final episode of A Love is Blind, and we got to talk about it. Now, understand the reunion will be dropping. I do believe it's going to drop on next week. I wish they would have just went ahead and wrapped everything up and dropped it on today. You feel what I'm saying? Maybe drop the final episode on today and then the reunion on tomorrow or something, but we're going to have to wait a week for the reunion. And can I just say, before we get into this final episode, I just want to say hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay? Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay? Because let me tell you something. This is exactly what I wanted. All right. This is exactly what I wanted to go down. And y'all gonna learn about it, okay, as I go through this review. All right. For the people that may not have watched the show and you came over here to the review, you're gonna learn about it as I go. So let's go ahead and get into it. So they have like this quick bachelorette party and a bachelor party. So you got the guys over there with their friends just chit-chatting. You got the girls over there with their friends chit-chatting. So Megan is talking to her friends and family about how Jordan accepts her for who she is and she could appreciate that. But she does mention that she doesn't want to travel by herself. So you could tell she's starting to think about things now. And you could tell that Megan had been thinking about it, right? I feel like this season or throughout this season, right? As we've watched them, I feel like they didn't really show a lot of her hesitation or concern about their dynamic. I feel like they got most of the better edits, until maybe this episode, and not that it was a bad episode, but more so just kind of like seeing more of the flaws. I feel like until maybe last episode and the episode before last, right? More so, I think last episode. But all in all, we're getting more into it. She's in her head about it. There's things that she wants to do in life. And you can tell that she doesn't want to be at a place where it's like, dang, I want to go here, but I don't want him to have to say something about it because he cannot afford that type of stuff, right? And she'll be the one that's likely financing all the trips. And although that sounds cool and cute because you hanging with your guy, at some point you're going to get tired of that. Like I'm always fronting the bill, right? It wouldn't make much sense to go into this with that type of situation, right? That's just, I mean, you might be okay carrying, and that's fine until he can get his stuff together and be on the same level as you, maybe. But it's two different lifestyles heavily. Now, her friend Carrie tells her that her biggest fear is that she's going to say yes to him because she fell in love with the kid. And she's like, yeah, girl, it's already happened. I've already fallen in love with the kid. So clearly, Carrie and Miss Megan have been having conversations about her hesitation. And it's like, girl, let me tell you my biggest fear for you. All right. You're going to say, yeah, because of this kid. I can't remember my reasons as to why I felt like Megan would say yes to him. Um, Maybe it was tied to the kid and this whole diabetes connection that she feels that they had. Now, she has another friend that's like, yeah, but like, what if this is like amazing for her and she just, creates this amazing life, finding this amazing guy and they have amazing kids and she doing all that talking and everybody else looking like, girl, anyway. Okay, they over there just looking at Megan while she talking like, girl, shut the hell up. Like, girl, shut the hell up. We trying to keep our girl from making a mistake and you over here living in a damn fantasy land. Shut up. Okay. But anywho, Allie is over there talking to her friends and she's asking, at least one of the friends asked her about Antonio, like, how are you feeling about him? What are your thoughts about him being Russian? Because for our tradition, it's traditional for the man to take care of the woman. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, he might be taking care of you, girl, but it seems like he may be doing things on a budget. You feel what I'm saying? So then Allie is like, but he makes really good money. Like he does. Like he really makes really good money. And one of the friends was like, sure. And it was giving to me like, this is what you're saying for the cameras. But behind the scenes, you told us something completely different. Like, he does not make as much money. Like, yeah, he may make pretty good money for himself, but to sustain your lifestyle and his, sure, girl. Yeah, sure, Jan. He doesn't make that much, girl. Stop playing, right? So that you can tell her friend does not believe that. So she asked, if she's okay that he's a truck driver because a lot of people will look down on that. And I'm like, girl, stop saying a lot of people when it's really you. You are a lot of people that you're talking about, okay? You would look down on the fact that he's a truck driver. So Allie is like, well, I mean, I think it's cool for now, but if it's going to be like a forever job, maybe not. Like, I don't think I would like that. She says he did talk about opening up like a restaurant or like a barber shop or something like that. So, I would be okay with that because that's what he said. When I was hearing her talk about this, I said, Allie, hurry up and say no, baby. Hurry up and tell this man no because him being a truck driver, um, I feel like Allie's gonna want a lot of time with him. And him being the truck driver could really take away from that. He may be going even more just to make enough money to sustain your lifestyle in his. So, what kind of marriage would you really have if he's not always there, how you would likely want him? Now, granted, yes, it will give you enough of the time and space to be able to utilize that money and go get your Botox and whatever else you want to do and live that type of lifestyle or whatever. But it's also going to leave you a lot of space and opportunity to get to know somebody else and connect with someone else. And then it's like, why did I even do this with you? For real, for real. Because if you also were to have children and that's his main source, and he's still stuck on driving trucks 5 years from now, or whatever the case is, then you're gonna be a married single mom. And all honesty, that's what it seems like to me. So I'm like, hurry up and just say no, because I don't think that this is gonna be a good fit for you and the lifestyle that you really want for yourself. Right now, her friend says that he has a lot of potential though, but then he also has the potential to still be a truck driver. So what do you think about that? Right. And I just wrote in my notes, all caps, like, I just said, listen, Allie's not going to say yes. Like, it just doesn't make sense. She's going to be shooting herself in the foot. She's going to be regretting it. If she does say yes, we're going to be learning about her getting ready to file a divorce after this reunion has been filmed. Like, I just refuse to believe that she's going to say yes to this man. Meanwhile, you got Anton over there telling the guys, is Allie, high maintenance? Yes. Does she cook or clean? No. No, she doesn't. But based on all the information that I do know about her, am I still willing to take that leap of faith with her? Yes, I am. So if it came down to asking if I do, I will. I said, okay, okay. And I feel like you're saying that you would do that because I do believe that Allie is gorgeous, and I don't believe that he would get a lady like that on the outside. In my personal, he might. He might, but she would definitely be cute to have on his arm, even though he's saying she's high maintenance, she doesn't cook or clean. These are things that you actually want in a wife, right? But I guess because you're so desperate to have a partner, or somebody that looks like her, you're willing to compromise the things that you want. And I don't think that's right, because after the looks fade or whatever the case is, like, she's still not gonna be cooking, she's not gonna be cleaning, she's still gonna be high maintenance, and you just set a standard and a bar that you really don't want to keep up when it comes to her, right? Or at least you may not mind doing those things as long as she's willing to do some type of part. I don't know. But it's only gonna leave you resenting her at a later time. You're gonna feel away. So, I mean, he's down for it. That's fine. I'm just hoping that she's not. But let's get to the wedding day. I do appreciate the fact that so many other couples eliminated themselves, because I feel like with this final episode, it really cut out a lot of the fluff. Because I feel like when it comes down to the day that people are getting married on Love is Blind, I just feel like it's such a drag. It's such a, like, hurry, can we hurry up and get there? Can we hurry up and get there? Like, what's that? What they finna say? What they finna say? And I know in past episodes I found myself like skipping through, fast forwarding. But this time I didn't. I said it's only an hour long. That means that it's not going to be a whole lot of footage. Okay. A whole lot of unnecessary footage. Right. So we're going to watch it. We're going to watch it through. Right. So it's time for Allie and Anton. They're the first ones up. Allie says that she got a text from, I believe it was Anton's best friend's fiance. Right. And so one of her homegirls was like, you talking about like the girlfriend? That was telling you stuff about him. And she said, no, 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 it was the fiance. You know what I'm saying? That's a different girl, because she was only a girlfriend for like 3 months. So I don't even know whether or not I should really trust some of the things that she's been saying. But the fiance told me to just trust my gut and go with my gut ultimately at the end of the day. But as far as the 3 month old girlfriend, or 3 month girlfriend. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really been doing anything in the past few weeks. There's been no signs to indicate what it is that she was saying was actually true. And I'm like, girl, why are you sitting up here lying to these people? Weren't you and Anton just getting into it because of his drinking? And he's probably not going out with old boy, his friend, because he's trying to continue to woo you in an effort to get you to say yes to the altar. But once she would have said yes, I guarantee you a month into their marriage, he'll be back to, I'm finna go hang out with the guy. I'm finna go hang out. I'm finna go back to, he would have reverted back to who he was before the pods, in all honesty, right? But her sitting up here trying to play it up to her friends like, oh, I mean, he hasn't given me any signs or anything like that in the past few weeks. Girl, stop lying. So her mom says, well, listen, he gave me a sign. And I'll tell you one thing, I don't like the fact that he drinks, because nobody in our family drinks. So I don't like that. And then Allie says, well, I drink, mom. I think he deserves some grace, because I do drink. And the mama was like, I don't care what you do or what you like. I don't like it. Okay. I say, now, mama, you try to sit up there and say nobody in the family drinks, and your daughter just clocked both of y'all. Okay. Well, not so much as you, right? because you probably don't drink, but she definitely clocked the fact that, ma'am, I drink. And I'm willing to believe your other children drink too. So for you to say nobody does that, no, you don't do that, and maybe your husband don't do that. Okay. But anywho, so the moms meet for the first time. Anton's mom, after she went and checked on her son, came over to Allie's room and met the mom and stuff. So his mom asked Allie how she felt about Anton, and Allie says that she loves him. His mom goes to her and just let her know how wonderful he is, how wonderful his soul is, but she does assure her to just listen to her heart and just go with that at the end of the day, right? And she pretty much told Anton the same thing, like, listen, if she says yes, great. If she says no, then obviously she did appreciate you. And I'm like, it's not that she doesn't really appreciate him. Why is it that if she tells him no, she doesn't appreciate him? It's just that it's I'm sure she appreciates the relationship and who they were to each other. It's just that what he has going on may not align with the life that she wants for herself. And you can't fault her for that. Right. So Allie's sister decides to come. And I could tell that, well, three of her sisters came. One of them was standing in the back. And I said, I bet you this is the sister that was pretty much upset with her, that the mom said, because she wasn't sure if the sister was going to come like to the wedding or whatever the case was. So she showed up, right? And so when she showed up, her sister says, whatever happens out there, I just want you to know that I'm not gonna be happy about it. It don't matter what happened, whether you say yeah, whether you say no, whatever it happened, whether y'all get married or you guys don't, I'm not gonna be happy because I didn't approve of it. However, all right, I love you. You're my best friend. And with that being said, you have to go and live your own life. So you have to go and do what makes you happy, whether I like it or not. And I said, that's real talk. Real talk. I don't know. And with you understanding that this is her decision to make, you coming in there letting her know that you're going to still be mad regardless of what happened, or you're still going to feel away regardless of what happened, is so unnecessary, in my opinion, because it's her life, as you said, and she can make her own decisions. She already knew that you did not approve and you weren't happy. So to come to her on her wedding day and lead with that, girl, just give her a hug and go from there. Let her do her thing. Anywho, it's time for the wedding. Allie walks down the aisle, but she does not look convincing. Allie walking down the aisle was not giving convincing to me at all. All right. At all. So they get up there. It's time for them to speak on their vows or whatnot. Anton was asked whether, he takes her. And he was the one. The fact that Anton was asked first for me, and that's how I'm able to gauge it, unless they switch it up. I feel like one time they did switch it up, where before, like, they would ask somebody else, the person they knew was going to say no, before that other person could even answer. So for me, when I was watching, I said the fact that they're asking him what his decision is confirmed for me that Allie was going to say no right out the gate. So the way that he looked at her after they asked him first, Anton, let's ask you this, X, Y, and Z, he made this face like, damn. He kind of like, it was like a weird face he made, and kind of like did his lips some kind of way to let me know in my head what I was thinking was that he was thinking, wow, so y'all asking me first lets me know that y'all must know she's going to tell me no. Damn. I feel like he knew in that moment when they asked that her answer was going to be no. So they asked Allie, right? It's time for Allie to ask. Allie literally takes, or at least, yeah, it's time for Allie to be asked. Allie takes 3 years to respond to him. And then she finally lets him know that she cannot be his wife. I said, baby, I knew it from the beginning. And I'm so glad. I'm proud of Allie for making that decision. If you weren't sure about it, don't follow through with it. It is totally okay. If you don't know, the answer is no. Hello? So, right on, honey. And I mean, it sucks. Nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings, but I mean, this is where we are. And you're about to really make a lifelong decision. Okay. And also, some people, I'm sure the way the wedding and stuff was set up probably was like, this isn't how I want my wedding. These are not the feels that I expected to have on my wedding day. It's just not what I would think. No, it's not giving fairy tale come true. So the answer will be no. Right. So she tells him who she fell in love with in the past is not the same guy that she got to experience in real life. And then she just walks off. I said, "Ooh, I thought she was going to say more, but that was pretty much it." And then she walks off crying. Now, while Allie's family is over there pouring into her and, consoling her and telling her, intuition never lies, you got Anton's family over there calling her a cold hearted bitch. And the mama, from what it sounds like to me, actually co signed co-signed the fact that somebody called her a cold-hearted BIT. Like she was just supposed to take your son. But I guess she was supposed to just take your son because um it was all about appreciating. Like if she doesn't, like you just assume she's supposed to automatically appreciate him. Whatever it was, the answer was no. She didn't have to be cold hearted for that. Or did she? Y'all let me know. Maybe y'all felt like she was cold hearted. She could have maybe ended this before they even walked down the aisle. All right. But that's that, right? She said that she wished she would have said no. So she wished he would have said no so that she didn't have to. Right. She doesn't think he was she said she didn't think that he was forthcoming about his lifestyle. He had her believe in one thing, and then now she gets out there, she's learning other things about him. And I told y'all about that when we first saw him in the pods. That's what I did not like about Anton. I highlighted the fact that Anton was giving a yes man. Everything she said was like, yes, 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 me too, me too, yeah, me too, exactly. He acted like they were so aligned with each other, and they weren't. Yeah, I had a dream about you too, baby. Yeah, and I have a question for you. Will you marry me today? She over here talking about how she had a damn dream as well about him, and I love you so much, and this that I love you with everything in me, and all of this extraness she was doing too over there in the pods, and he over there just agreeing with everything that she's saying. So of course, when you get outside in real life, you're seeing a completely different person because he's agreeing with damn near everything you say, and you think that you guys are so in alignment with each other, and you realize you never were because he was just saying some stuff. But and then he realized he saw just how gorgeous you were, right? And was like, oh wow, she's even more beautiful than what I thought. Yeah, I probably could really make this work. Whatever. So I guess, honey, but that's what's going on. Now, y'all, next up, we get KB and Edmund. When I tell y'all, I could have sworn they were going to be the very last couple that everybody that Love is Blind get to because everybody has been waiting to see what is the decision going to be between these two. So I figured they would do them last. Well, honey, it was a method to the madness. So let's go ahead and get into KB and Edmund. So she says when she looks at Edmund, she sees a loving, trying, healing, growing, and a stubborn man. And although he is stubborn, he makes her feel loved. And she mentions that her mom loves her some Edmund. And she was right. Because she was like, Mommy's probably over there in Edmund's room checking on him. And she did go over there and she checked on Edmund, made sure he was straight, right? We learned that his mama wasn't able to be there due to personal things that she has going on. But the dad did show up, right? He was there along with the rollerblading community and as well as that fifth grade teacher that he said saved his life. So she was also there. Now, KB mom, she does tell him to not take it as hard about his mom, to not take it to heart pretty much, as far as his mom not being there. Like, don't take it as though she doesn't care about you because she does. But people do make choices. Don't let this steal your joy or anything like that. It is what it is. It's okay. I know that there's nothing that I can say or anyone else can say or do to make you feel better or to fix the situation. But, just try not to take it to heart, right? Um, I made a note that Edmund does deserve to be loved, right? I think everybody does, right? He deserves to be loved. And I also made a note to say that I hope he finds that love. Because in this moment, as I was watching the show, I said, I do not, and I've been saying this, of course, I just don't think that person is KB. You deserve that love, and I hope that you find what you're looking for. I just don't think that it's going to be her on today, sir. Right? But anywho, I am glad that her mother went over there to support him because he didn't have his own mother there to do it, right? So his teacher did show up and she lets him know that she'll always be a constant in his life. And I'll be honest, y'all, that did make me tear up. Not gonna hold you, all right? Love the fact that when mommy is not showing up how she should, okay, as her best person, I'm glad that some other people were able to step in and fill whatever was empty for him in that moment, right? You can tell he looks up to the teacher and thinks so highly of her and how she supported him beyond fifth grade, right? So I thought that was really, really nice. Edmund still got to pick, no, that's what I wanted to say. He still had that pick in his head, girl. He still had that pick in his head. I said, is this boy about to walk down the damn aisle with this pick in his head? And I said, you know what? Hold on. Well, let me just, because maybe that's like a comfort thing for him, right? Maybe that's just something that he keeps with him to likely calm his anxiety of some fashion, right? Because I've seen Edmund with this pick probably since he's been on this show. And I'm not gonna say everybody, but maybe people with bad anxiety. Not sure, y'all correct me in the comments, but maybe everybody has that thing that they always have to carry with them, and maybe it's not as noticeable for the people that may have, like, you know heavy anxiety. Maybe it may be like a bracelet or something that you may see them fondle with. It may be a ring. It may be a particular necklace that they're messing with. You know, his thing just happens to be a pick. So that's what's going on. Okay. Now KB came and so let's go back. Let me see. So when KB gets to I wanted to also talk about something else that the teacher said. She was just talking about how Edmund used to dance in the back and how he would do a whole lot in the back, and how he kind of helped her because even though he was a busy kid, she realized that he still was listening to everything that she was doing. And because of him, she learned how to still teach students even when they're moving about and they're busy and this and that. And good for that teacher for learning that just a little bit, because I think sometimes with teachers in classrooms, and I'm not a teacher, so girl, don't chew me down too much, okay? Because I'll never know what it's like from y'all perspective, right? However, on the outside looking in, I think that some teachers, not all, don't know how to manage the classroom at times and understand that each child requires something different, a different type of learning. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to her for, figuring that out or whatever. Now, so KB gets up there. As soon as she gets up there, KB gives him a hug, right? She walks down the aisle, he's all happy and stuff. She gives him a hug. When she gives him this hug, I immediately made a note. The hug for me was like, I'm about to let you down and I may never see you again after this. So let me go ahead and get my hug now, because after I say what I want to say, I don't think that you're even going to want to touch me. But we're gonna keep going. So Edmund was speaking from his heart. It's time for him to, do his vows and stuff. Speaking from his heart. KB was in tears the whole time for the most part. But I noticed for a good bit of what Edmund was saying, KB was not looking in his eyes. She was not looking at him. And then at some point, she does look up at him. Right? So I feel like with her not looking at him, I don't think she was taking in things that he was saying. I think she was more so trying to prepare herself for the letdown that she's about to give to him. Right? And that's what it was given to me. Now, I feel like when Edmund was up there talking to her, it was given he was trying to convince her, somewhat begging her, pleading with her to say yes to him at the last minute. Like, okay, this is my final straw. This is my last moment. This is all I got, to try and convince her to say yes to me. And that's what it was. That's what it seemed like to me. All right. Now, KB says that his story shapes him and she loves him. And she talks about how he shaped her and how he's helped her, and they love the hell out of each other, is what we learned, because I love you so much. I love you. I love the hell out of you. This and that. So KB saying all of this and that. It's given as a friend though. I love you as a friend. Like, if you still want to be friends after this, like, yeah, I could be your friend. But as far as a partner, that I can't do. So KB says that no, they asked Edmund, right? They asked Edmund first what his decision is. He says yes. They asked KB. KB took some time. She didn't take 3 years. She did take some time. And she just said, I'm so sorry. She really didn't even say no. She just started crying and said, I'm so sorry. So Edmund already knew. He was like, nah, and then KB says that, he deserves somebody that's 100% all in, at the altar. And I agree. I agree. I agree. She says her no doesn't mean that she doesn't love him or accept him, right? She asked him if he's okay. He said, I'm not okay. She said, and that's fine, and it's okay not to be okay. She gives him a hug. He says he respects her as a person, and she tells him he's amazing and he is enough. But, the doubt that she had to honor it. I appreciated the conversation these two people had at the altar a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it was, because with Allie said what she said and she just walked the hell off, right? And sometimes we'll see afterwards where the two people will come, have a conversation, discuss some things, but that didn't happen. But for KB and Edmund, they had their talk right there just a bit, and I can appreciate KB for wanting to continue to have that talk and not just walk off on him like bye. She was like, nah, like we cool. I respect you as a person. You're amazing. You're enough. But I had doubt. And I didn't feel right moving forward, knowing that I'm doubting some things. I gotta honor that. I gotta stay true to myself regardless of anything. right? So KB said it was a tough decision for her. And, she said what she told him was that she even broke down, not being able to figure out what it is that she needed to do. And the fact that she even broke down trying to figure it out was enough to let her know not to do it. Because if you don't know, the answer is no. So that's how she got her answer. So KB is in her room, and she's saying she feels so bad for hurting him like that, really, really sad about it. But she knows that if she would have married him, she would have been miserable. And she's right. She would have been. Like, just watching you these past few weeks being with him, it was like we got tired at some point. Okay, we got tired, and he was bringing you out your character, let you tell it, and I'm still confused on how he really shaped you and helped you, right? I don't know. Maybe he taught you a little bit of patience and a different type of understanding when you go and you're off with your next partner. I don't know, but okay. Meanwhile, Edmund is feeling hopeless, right? He feels like he has tried everything, everything. I've tried everything. Like, this was like, he feels like his last straw. He's like, then I did this and this didn't work, and the teacher said that he could have married this person that wasn't right for him and ended up in a divorce. Or you could just take the time, find the right person, and then get the person that's ready to go the distance with you. You could do that. Now, I'll be honest, for me, I did feel bad for Edmund in this moment, but I also was very happy for KB to make that decision and not make a decision that she would later regret. Love that for her. Edmund, I did feel a bit bad because based on how us as people have responded to seeing him on camera, right? He doesn't act like the normal person. You can tell he's more hyper. He does certain things to get attention, and a lot of it is triggered or has been developed from his childhood and the trauma that he experienced, right? And instead of us often coming, myself included, coming from a mind of understanding from a person's, wondering what a person's background is, what they had going on that has shaped them to who they are today, we do a lot of judging of that person. So because of that, and how a lot of times society can shape the idea or the look of how your partner is supposed to be or what they're supposed to look like, and this, that, and other, a lot of women are not gonna be interested in him based off of that, just based off looks, based off how he dresses. They're not gonna take the time out to really want to get to understand his heart or anything. I feel like Edmund can work on his communication skills. So Edmund, there's also some therapy and things that you need to do, right, to prepare yourself for a real relationship as well. Okay, because some part of that I feel like is some part of it is your personality, and I can understand if some people cannot deal with your personality. You may not possess some of the things that those individuals may want, but then also there's an element of it being shallow as well as to why people wouldn't want to date you either. So, I did feel bad for him. I definitely felt bad for him, but I'm hoping that him watching himself on TV would, and hopefully having a relationship with maybe KB's mom or KB herself, yeah, to where maybe they'll continue to talk to you, communicate with you, but also encourage you to go and get that additional help that you may have had once upon a time and maybe no longer, or whatever the case is, or you can get back into it. But yeah, all in all, I did feel kind of bad for him. I'm not gonna lie. I did feel bad for him just a bit. But there's that, right? Good luck to KB and Edmund. All right. Hopefully Edmund does find the person that is willing to have patience with him, and also, deal with his personality, and also, just be 100% all in, right? So good luck to that. I'm sure that person is out there. They say it's somebody for everybody, child. It's just that it's not gonna be KB. Okay. So good luck to him. All right. Next up we have Jordan and Megan. So when we see Jordan and Megan, they not at a chapel. They not getting ready. They not in no cars, baby. They is at the house. They's at the apartment, right? So while they're here, Megan says that she was up early at 4:30 a.m. and she was an absolute mess, right? And you could tell at one, first of all, when we saw her sitting down, when we saw both of them sitting down, we already knew what was going on. I said, "Oh yeah, they're not gonna get married. Thank God, thank God." Okay. So she says that she was an absolute mess in the wee hours of the morning. She says, I think that you and I think completely different. than each other. Like, I just think there's a huge difference between us. And Jordan's like, he doesn't really see a difference. How do you not see a difference when you just pretty much snapped on the lady the other day and told her, you want to go do this and you want to go do that, and I don't have the time. I'm unable to do that. I don't have the money that you got. You constantly, in my opinion, make a reference to that, but then you say that you don't see much of a difference, right? She just highlighted and told you when you said you like certain type of restaurants, she can't tell because you haven't taken her anywhere, right? So yeah, Megan is highlighting the differences, between things that they eat and stuff, the things that they do. He likes to have the same old routine every day. She doesn't have to have the same old routine every day. She has money to go and do a variety of different things from day to day, week to week. Right. So then she calls out him wanting her to do things on her own. Like, I understand, the fact that you are encouraging me to continue to do certain things on my own, but I've done that. I've been doing that for years. Right. And I'm not trying to do that no more. Like, I want to do that with somebody else. The things that I do my own, I want to do it with somebody else. I want to enjoy someone else's company. That is the whole reason that I signed up for this. I want a actual relationship. Okay. So she says she's never dated somebody with a kid. She didn't know it was going to be as rigid as it is. And he says that he didn't know why she chose him in the past. He says, because I already told you that you was going to have to sacrifice some stuff if you was going to be with me. And I'm slick like, you know what, Megan? I'm not even gonna say this because I feel like at one point I want to say this what you get. Whatever happens, this what you get, because you're trying to partner with this man because of diabetes and this and that. But honestly, no. Megan went for Jordan because she wanted to try something different than what she was used to. Right? And Megan going with Jordan, she realized that I tried it. I've never dated a person without with kids. I've never dated a person that has had less than me. So this should be an experience, and maybe that's a better option. She went with it. She tried it out. She thought opposites would attract. That's why she leaned into it, and it didn't work, and that's okay. She said she had reservations, and that's not how she should feel going into her wedding, and it's not. So now you're realizing, Megan, in my opinion, that you probably should get somebody that's closer in tax bracket as you, or salary range as you, or somebody that has even more than you, possibly, right? Versus getting with somebody that has a very small fraction of what you have on top of children. Because here's the other thing: if Jordan did not have children, especially a child that requires a lot, maybe they could have made some things work, because that guy probably would have been open to exploring things and supporting her, right, and helping her elevate to whatever, or however the case is. Maybe he had his own dreams and they could have did things alongside each other. So now I feel like part of it is Megan realizing that, hey, some of the guys that I were dating, like, maybe it wasn't, like, maybe it's not the guys in that tax bracket. It was just those guys that just didn't work out. But I probably could still date somebody on my level. Maybe it could work. It's just I just haven't found that right guy. Or maybe I could date somebody else like him. I just don't think that I should be dating nobody else with no kids. Right. And I'm glad she came to that realization too, because she says, first of all, she tells him she's sorry for not feeling compassion and understanding for him and giving him what it is he needs in a fiance. And I'm like, excuse me, hello, he should be saying that to you too, right? I feel like he should be saying that to you as well. Just a little piece. But she tells him she can't do this. And I said, praise God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm so glad that you're not going to be doing that. Now, I feel like at least she did it before the altar instead of going on to waste everybody else's time. So I have to give her something for that, right? Now, Jordan over there shedding a tear or two. And then he gets up and said, well, I ain't got nothing else to say, so I'm about to go pick my son up from school. He hugs her and he goes out the door. Right? She does tell him that she loves him, but he don't say that back to her. Right? And so they asked Jordan, I think Jordan tried to say something like, oh, I don't think she appreciated me for who I am. And they said, do you have any regrets? And he says, yeah, I wish I would have never introduced her to my son. You know what? I don't fault you on that now. I don't fault you on that, on the introducing her to your son. True. And she put so much pressure on, well, I don't know if she put the pressure on meeting the son. I think she put the pressure on meeting his mom before meeting the son. Right? Yeah, she shouldn't have did. Just shouldn't have did this. Y'all literally sat up there and bonded over diabetes and stuff. Like, yeah. Instead of trying to see what the other guy was talking about, I can't think of his name at the time. The one that had the money. that was kind of on her same level. I think y'all both could have did a better job with communicating, not just him, definitely him, but you also. Y'all could have did a better job with communicating, because let's not act like, Megan, you don't got no issue with communicating. You do. You be afraid of expressing yourself out of fear that that person gonna leave you or something, right? You need to work on that too. So if they would have worked on that, or if they tried it, maybe they did. Maybe they went on to work on that communication. Maybe we'll find out at the reunion that her and the other guy are dating. Who knows, right? But Megan is feeling bad because she's starting to question whether or not she's even cut out to be a stepmama or even a mama. And I'm just like, girl, go live your life, have your fun. I think when that time comes for you to be a mom, I think that you will be a pretty good mom. I would want to believe that you would be when that time has come, you know. But you made a good point. If you're not ready to, make concessions in your life right now because of your lifestyle, you want to keep having freedom and doing what you want to do, you have every right to go and do that. You're a single woman, you're not attached to no man and no child. Go and live your life. But when it's time, you'll know if you're gonna be ready to be a mom, because you're gonna be okay with giving up certain things. You'll know that. But all in all, I feel like just the fact that you made this right decision for yourself in this moment, you're on the right track. Okay, you'll get there when you need to be there, honey. Okay, so good luck. But that's all I got. Wanted to come and give you guys the update for Love is Blind. I am so glad that not a single person on this show has gotten married. And I think I think this may be the first season. Don't quote me. I think, but I definitely got my wish. This is exactly what I wanted. And I thank everybody. I thank everybody for participating. All right. Everybody. And can I say, I feel like Love Island has moved so far away from like even just genuine real connections. Like, I mean, we so far in that, I mean, yeah, it ain't like the earlier seasons, clearly. Right? I'm thinking that at least we'll get one couple to where, it's always a couple where it's like, I don't want to, get married, but I want us to continue to date or something like that. Nah. Everybody was up there for a little piece of play, but I ain't mad at it though. I'm not mad at it at all. Congratulations, everybody. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy.